Good evening. It's now 6 p.m. and I'll call to order our regularly scheduled Shawnee Mission School District Board of Education meeting. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. I'll seek a motion to adopt.
So moved, Goodburn.
Is there a second?
Second, Hembry.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'll now move to Dr. Hubbard for her superintendent report.
Thank you. So we're thrilled that the Health Partnership Clinic at Shawnee Mission West is open and serving students across the district. Last week, partners from HPC, the Overland Park Chamber, and the Shawnee Mission School District gathered for a ribbon cutting to celebrate this new facility. Attendees were able to tour the clinic, which is open to all Shawnee Mission District students and their siblings. The clinic looks just like a physician's office right in Shawnee Mission West and is open from 11 to 3 every Thursday for appointments. We will include a link in the recap for those who would like to make an appointment. We especially thank Health Partnership Clinic, Shawnee Mission West staff, the Health Services Director, Shelby Reback, who made this resource available for our students. We are also thankful to have students from every Shawnee Mission High School here at the Center for Academic Achievement recently to help chart the future for sustainability in Shawnee Mission. They were joined by educators and a dedicated group of community experts to develop recommendations for sustainability priorities for the district at the Sustainability Summit. I expect we'll be learning more about their ideas for next steps and goals at a board meeting in the near future. I want to thank Dr. Neal, Chief Early Childhood and Sustainability, and all of our community volunteers, and of course the educators and students who participated for making sure we remain dedicated to sustainable and efficient use of our resources. We continue to work toward providing helpful information to support families as our students use digital resources. We wanted to make our families aware of some opportunities for additional support coming up. From 6 to 8 this Thursday, October 14th, there will be a drive-up Tech Tune event to help families gain assistance using resources like Canvas and Skylert. This will be held at the CAA, and educators will be here in person to help. October 18th will kick off National Digital Citizenship Week, and our district will be engaging students and educators in lessons and activities related to digital literacy, etiquette, and safety. There will also be an event on November 3rd focused on students, screen time, and health. We'll have links in the recap so families can RSVP for these events and find additional resources. Last week, Shawnee Mission observed Anti-Bullying Awareness Week. Schools across our district joined in raising awareness and providing resources designed to help students and families proactively prevent bullying. This is a statewide recognition, and the theme this year was Choose Peace. Thank you to everyone who participated in this Awareness Week and for doing your part to stop bullying before it starts. I want to thank our Girl Scout Troop number 582. This is a group of students from Oak Park Carpenter Elementary who picked up some power tools and worked together to make a new donation bin for the Shawnee Mission Area Council PTA clothing closet. They recently presented their gift at the clothing closet located at Shawnee Mission Early Childhood Education Center. Their gift will allow people across our community to donate items for people in need. I understand they collaborated and learned a lot through the process. Thank you so much for your gift that will benefit our entire community. I had the joy of sharing the stage at the recent Shawnee Mission Education Foundation Fall Breakfast. It was a virtual event, but I know so many viewers were glad to have a chance to hear the powerful stories shared by students and staff. I want to give a shout out to Grayson, Solomon, and Beatrice, 3 high school students who interviewed me during the event. They asked great questions about the direction of the district and how we're working to ensure all students achieve unlimited possibilities. If you haven't seen the breakfast, I hope you take some time to watch it. It gives us all a chance to celebrate so much of what is great about our district. We'll also include a link in the recap, and of course, a special thanks to the foundation and our district communication staffs for all they did to share this presentation with our community. And this month, our Read Across SMSD theme is Create Change. Our community is reading stories and encourage students to use their voice to make a difference. This month, Mr. Stubblefield talked to Olivia Bloomfield, who is a perfect example of that. And we want to share what she had to say.
Hi, my name is David Stubblefield, and I'm the Associate Superintendent for Leadership and Learning in the Shawnee Mission School District. Our October theme for Read Across SMSD is Create Change. One of the featured books this month is by inaugural poet and activist Amanda Gorman. Her new book is called Change Sings. It features children using courage, love, strength, helping hands, and their song to make the world around them a better place. Amanda Gorman says she wrote this book because she believes every child has the ability to make a difference. I believe that too. In fact, I'm speaking with a Shawnee Mission student today who used her power to help make a dream a reality for her and for students across our district. I'm here with Olivia Bloomfield, a fourth grader at Corinth Elementary School. She has been a strong advocate for inclusive playgrounds and is a big reason we are sitting on this playground today at Corinth. Hi, Olivia. I've got a couple of questions that I want to ask you about this great playground and your vision for inclusive playgrounds across Shawnee Mission School District. How did you learn to use your voice for change?
Working for an organization called Variety KC taught me a lot about making change and making sure everyone can play. So I realized I gotta do something. I gotta make this maybe accessible.
I love that. What kinds of things do you do to raise awareness and help get inclusive playgrounds built?
I make sure that everyone knows to not just make them wheelchair and walker accessible, but for people with cognitive, sensory, hearing, and vision impairments too. Because everyone deserves a chance to play.
And what advice do you have for students who would like to make positive change?
I just want to say that if you want to make change, go for it. People need to learn to speak up and do the right thing. Everyone can make the world a better place. They just need to speak up.
Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome.
Thank you for inspiring all of us to use our voice for change. You have given us such a perfect example of how inclusion is not bringing people into what already exists, it is making a new space, a better space for everyone. We invite everyone in the Shawnee Mission School District to create change throughout October and beyond. Let's read across SMSD.
So again, just happy to partner with NEA on this project. And I know Olivia has always been such a huge inspiration for me. And I think David, Mr. Stubblefield definitely felt the same thing after meeting her this past month. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is item 3.1. It's the Human Resources Program Evaluation. So I will turn it back over to you, Dr. Hubbard, and the Human Resources team.
Thank you. So this team has worked really hard on the report that you have before you, and then they're also going to do a presentation. And they have several guests with them, and so I don't want to mess up any of the guests, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Schumacher, and I just want to say thank you to you and your team. So
appreciate that, Dr. Hubbard. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for giving us this opportunity to share some of the information about the great work that this HR team is doing. And rather than me introducing them, I guess I'll take just a quick second for you guys to introduce yourselves.
Good evening, Dr. Tyrone Bates, Coordinator of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
I'm Jarius Jones, and I am the Director of Human Resources Classified.
Good evening, Brittany Gonzer, the Director of Professional Learning. Sam Lewis, the Director of Elementary Human Resources.
Jeremy Higgins, Director of Secondary Human Resources.
So this tremendous team, like Dr. Hubbard said, spent a lot of time over the last month putting together this report. When we first started it, we didn't know if we'd have enough to fill up a report, and as I think you can see through the report, we found that we had a lot of information to share with you that we're really proud of. You know, every couple weeks I get the opportunity to sit in front of this board and interact with you. My hope tonight is for you to get to know the rest of this team a little bit better and understand more completely the great work that this team does for the Shawnee Mission School District on a daily basis. As we all know, what guides the work and the actions of the Shawnee Mission School District is our strategic plan, and it's always important to remind ourselves of the district mission, which we can see here. Additionally, it's important to know what our destination is. We see these two slides every presentation, which of course is very important. As an HR team, like all departments in schools, we know that that our work must allow students to achieve academic success, develop and utilize resilience, and develop interpersonal skills. And I think you'll see that through our report. So, knowing that the strategic plan guides our work, let's jump into our report. Knowing that each of you have had a chance to read that entire large report, tonight we're going to attempt to simply provide you with a brief overview and then stand for any of the specific questions that you may have in the end. And as we do that, we of course want to begin by sharing with you our team philosophy and goals. I've had an opportunity to share this with you previously, and we're really proud of it. But during our HR leadership retreat this summer, we did spend significant time developing this philosophy and the goals as we determined how we would support specifically our strategic plan. There's clearly a lot here, but one thing that always comes through, and if we boil it down, is that we believe people are our greatest resource. And again, I think you'll see that as we present tonight. Our report is broken into 5 different sections, which again, we're going to go through here in a second. And those 5 different sections are what we believe are the 5 main functions of every HR team. Tonight, we're going to take you briefly through each of those. First, and possibly the most interesting, maybe, we'll see if that comes true, is recruitment and retention. So this first slide, we're going to kind of tag team. I'm going to take the first couple slides or first couple points, and then Dr. Bates is going to take me through the rest. But as we jump into recruiting and retaining a diverse workforce, it's important to note that the strategic plan tie is strategy 2. Strategy 2 is really the anchor here, which speaks directly to recruiting and retaining a diverse workforce. And as we began this work some 3 years ago, we began to work with staff and community members, and we defined our why. We thought it was really important to define the why of why we want to recruit and retain a diverse workforce. And again, as you went through the report, if you put it simply, research will state that students perform better in nearly every metric when they have at least one same-race teacher. And clearly, our community benefits from us having a diverse workforce. I also mentioned that we started this work 3 years ago. And one of the specific actions that we took those 3 years ago was expanding our geographical recruiting efforts. That, again, started 3 years ago, where we targeted diverse recruiting grounds, including historically black colleges and universities, and schools with high Hispanic student populations. And that work has continued into this year. At this point, Dr. Bates is going to talk briefly about how we define diversity.
Thank you, Dr. Schumacher. So as we thought about diversity, we had to be sure our definition of diversity was inclusive. And so our chosen definition for diversity is the many differences we bring to a group or organization. Those differences could be identity diversity, socioeconomic diversity, ethnic and racial diversity, etc.
Thank you, Dr. Bates. And finally on this slide, we do feel it's important to note the difference between hiring and recruiting, and those sometimes get mixed up. We have a very detailed hiring protocol for hiring all of our different positions in the Shawnee Mission School District, and we believe that this ensures a fair, impartial, and unbiased process for all of our applicants. It does not include a metric that considers diversity or specifically race and ethnicity. However, and this is what's important, we do recruit, as you will see in future slides, to garner interest from the most diverse pool of candidates that we can create. We believe that this gives us the best opportunity to recruit not only the best talent, but the most diverse talent. So as we move into some graphics, we're going to kind of move quickly through this data, again, as you've seen the data already, and then stand for any specific questions in the end. We've defined our why. And so these next couple slides talk a little bit about the challenge that faces us as an HR team. This first slide talks about that this is not simply a Shawnee Mission problem. This slide shares with you that 79% of the nation's public school teachers are white, and according to 2019 data, only 1% of the teachers in the states of Missouri and Kansas are black males. Okay? Moving on to this next slide, this gets more specific for Shawnee Mission. So as we drill down further to our district, we see the same disproportionate trend. We put these two graphs together because it shows the work that we have ahead of us in Shawnee Mission. The graph on the top left is our student population, and it shares that 62% of our SMSD students are white, and then compared to the bottom right graph, and that's a little harder to see, 94% of our teachers are white. It should be noted that when we took a snapshot of our teacher demographics those 3 years ago when we started these efforts, the percentage of white teachers was 96%, so a little bit of progress has been made. This next slide shares with you our A-team demographics, and the A-team would include all administrators in the district, from the superintendent to our administrative interns. And I think I think it's safe to say that there is some progress being made here. About 90% of our administrative team is white, and then a dispersion across all of the different identified classes from there. And then finally, the classified employee demographics. This is a super important group to the development of our students, and I think it is important to note that there is some significant advances being made here as far as diversity. And again, as you look at those, we'll stand for any questions at the end. So as we move forward, I'm going to throw it to Dr. Bates to talk a little bit more about some of his work around hiring and retention efforts.
So the Strategic Planning Task Force 222 started in the fall of 2019 under the direction of Dr. Schumacher, and it was composed of a diverse stakeholder group from classified, certified, to students, to parents, and community members. I was appointed as a facilitator of the task force. The group met a total of 8 times through May of 2021. The group identified a targeted mission statement. The task force created common definitions for this work and used them to guide the work as well. 3 subgroups were formed based on focus areas gathered from the committee. They were pipeline for classified staff to become teachers, access to hiring process for underrepresented candidates, and recruiting advertising strategies. One of the pieces that fell out of this work was the conversation around affinity groups and affinity spaces. And affinity groups started 2 years ago to support our retention efforts around the work of Strategy 222. An affinity group is a group of people with a common identity and have common interests, similar background, work experience that come together to support each other. A successful affinity group considers how their work can benefit everyone in the organization, make their company or organization a better place to work for future employees, and boost the company's direction and success. Affinity groups are employees and student initiated. I think that's important to make clear. To date, we've had 4 affinity groups established: a Black staff affinity group, Asian staff affinity group, LGBTQ+ staff affinity group, and Latinx staff affinity group. An additional aspect of the affinity groups is that they help avoid isolation and increase and encourage authenticity of our underrepresented staff members. Our goal with affinity spaces is for staff and students to see themselves reflected within our organization so that they are affirmed, feel a sense of belongingness, and not feel the need to resign from us and look elsewhere for these organizational elements.
Let's continue the discussion on recruitment and further discuss the efforts we take to recruit new teammates to the Shawnee Mission School District, specifically certified teachers. There's been a concerted effort over the last several years to expand our recruiting footprint as we look to hire the diverse workforce that Dr. Bates and Dr. Schumacher previously talked about. The green dots on the map that you see shows areas of the country where we already have a recruiting presence. The yellow dots on the map show locations where we are expanding our recruiting efforts. Not only are we expanding our recruiting efforts into Colorado and Arkansas, we are also increasing our recruiting efforts closer to home by going to even more colleges in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Texas. This fall, we are scheduled to attend 35 recruitment events. 18 of those are in-person events, and 17 of those are being held virtually.
And assisting us in our recruitment efforts is our SMSD recruit team.
Just love working with this group of staff members. We have 25 staff members from across the district that are involved, and these consist of experienced teachers as well as teachers that are in their first year of teaching in Shawnee Mission, also special education teachers. And so it gives them the opportunity to help us with recruitment. And really, the focus of the work, we've tied it into the Stick Together book, which of course is our district read. And the key concept that comes out of that is connection. And so their goal is to really connect with those candidates and then begin developing that relationship with them, answering questions for them, and just continuing to help them gain interest and insight into Shawnee Mission. And then also the work that we've done is aligned to our strategic plan. And so the work that I'm really proud of this semester is our SMSD recruit team, along with input from Dr. Bates's 2.2.2 strategic plan team and some work from our curriculum and instruction team. The SMSD recruit team first analyzed all of our interview tools that we have for our screener tools, really identifying the questions in those, what are aligned with our strategic plans and which ones are not aligned with our strategic plans, and kind of the insight we're gathering from our candidates. And so not only did they analyze those, they chose some of those that we would not continue with, and then worked in teams to develop questions that would then become a part of our new interview tools. So we just unveiled that to our principals this past week. They were really excited to have that updated new interview tool, as well as an interview question bank that then, again, they can utilize those for their building interviews. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to introduce Alicia Anderson, and she is part of our SMSD recruit team. And I'm just going to let you share her perspective on being involved on SMSD recruit. Alicia?
Thank you. Good evening. From the moment that I was asked to be a part of the SMSD recruitment team, I was filled with excitement. Being presented with the opportunity to connect with future teaching candidates for Shawnee Mission School District has been an amazing experience so far. From meeting with the recruitment team to analyze screening questions to determine which questions should be revised or completely eliminated so that the questions that we asked of recruits could reflect what education looks like today, and the candidates we attract would reflect the diversity that is currently reflected in our district. To attending the education fair in Alva, Oklahoma this morning and meeting prospective student applicants from another state. This morning I met some wonderful undergraduate education students, and I was able to describe my experience in the district and provide them with a deeper understanding of our district through the work I've done as an instructional coach in the district. Being a part of this recruiting team, which consists of new and veteran teachers, innovation specialists, instructional coaches, and beyond, allows for multiple lenses on potential candidates, and it allows for recruiting opportunities within our district. I look forward to the recruitment opportunities with the Shawnee Mission School District recruitment team, and I feel confident that our team will attract the best teachers who will serve in our district for years to come. Thank you.
This year, we have experienced unprecedented workforce shortages that have contributed to our inability to fill classified vacancies in key areas that support the health and scholastic well-being of our scholars and team. And looking at our data between 2019 and the current school year, one can see that we've had 3 times as many paraprofessional, food service, and custodial vacancies as seen in the chart in the top right-hand corner of this slide. The HR team responded to our present reality by organizing an SMSD job fair on August 4th at Shawnee Mission West High School, also coupled with a vaccination clinic. Additionally, we participated in the JobNewsUSA.com career fair at Arrowhead Stadium, where we were the sole educational organization out of 59 participating businesses and organizations. And we were grateful to be able to come away with 30 solid candidates from that experience. To bring awareness to the SMSD community that we are hiring classified positions, we have collaborated with our communications department and our team and our operations and maintenance team to create yard signs, such as the 3-sign system that's there on the left of that, that will be placed on every SMSD property beginning tomorrow. We continue to promote on the district website, building Leaders are also promoting in their periodic communications to families that we are hiring.
Not only do we have a focus on recruiting those outside of our organization, but you are going to begin seeing a more coordinated effort to recruit those already within the Shawnee Mission School District community into various positions in our organization. Dr. Schumacher has said this before, we can't simply accept what the teacher pool is. Ultimately, the best opportunity we have to hire a diverse workforce comes from our own efforts to control that teacher pool, which comes from growing our own pool of employees. Several different aspects of the strategic plan lay out the path forward for recruiting within the SMSD. Strategic Action Step 2.2.3 speaks directly about our teacher education program. Currently, 4 of the 5 high schools have teacher education programs included within their master schedules. Having this program in all of our high schools is the goal. Having a high-functioning teacher ed program can serve as that initial kickoff for our internal recruiting, and done when students are still within our school system. Conversations will continue to occur with our teacher education teachers and students currently enrolled in the program about what we can do to support the program and increase that enrollment. Creation of a Grow Your Own program is identified in Strategic Action Plan 2.2.4. An action planning committee is being developed as we speak, and this committee will really drive the work around this action step. I don't want to assume what the work of that group is going to look like or what it will result in, but I do anticipate having a set of recommendations to ELT shortly after the beginning of the year. Action Step 2.2.5 identifies specific partnerships to explore and establish in an effort to promote and enhance diverse candidates in education. This includes a Pair-to-Teacher program, a non-traditional education program to encourage community members and parents to enter the profession, and enhanced internship and practicum opportunities for college-age students within Shawnee Mission School District. Along with Action Step 2.2.4, an action planning committee is being developed with work to begin very shortly. I know that the HR team is excited about this upcoming work as we look to solidify ways in which we can grow our own pool of educators within the Shawnee Mission School District. The next function of the HR department that we want to quickly touch on is the area of safety and compliance. This is an example of how the work we do, while sometimes not glamorous or exciting, is completely necessary and would be greatly missed. In our report, we talked about all of the mandatory trainings that we administer and that all of our employees, both classified and certified, must complete. This is a big lift and takes the help and assistance of many other departments. An additional safety and compliance task detailed in our report relates to workers' compensation. Again, a topic that is not the most exciting, but one that requires our attention and diligent monitoring.
As you've heard multiple times throughout our presentation, our human resources team strongly believes that our people are our greatest resource. This means that our work does not stop after recruitment and hiring. It's really important that we continue to provide those ongoing supports and opportunities for our colleagues. We really begin this process at New Team Member Academy. And this year, we were fortunate to welcome more than 280 new team members to the Shawnee Mission School District. These new team members represent every feeder pattern, community, and team across our district. There are a couple of critical purposes for New Team Member Academy. One, of course, is some training. So exposing our new team members to their curricular resources, as well as some critical systems and tools that they'll need within their first few days in the district. Additionally, we want to welcome them and introduce them to our proud culture and tradition in the Shawnee Mission School District. We do this by not only utilizing our administrators to welcome them, but also inviting our students, staff members, and community members as well to participate in those festivities. And of course, another function is to initiate that system of ongoing support. We do this by establishing the mentorship program during New Team Member Academy. We introduce our new team members to their first-year mentors, who will be critical resources for them, as well as their instructional coaches, who will go on to serve as career-long mentors, not just in those first years, too. I also think it's very important to recognize that many hands go into this event, and it just shows our collective commitment as a district to welcoming our new team members.
As we continue to focus on employee relations, we really want to be an HR team that's not just in our office, but an HR team that's out in our schools, working with the students that we serve, as well as working with the staff that we serve. And so our goal is, of course, to be out in schools, really visiting with our experienced teachers and continuing to develop those relationships, answer those questions, but also then checking in with our brand new teachers and visiting their classrooms. You know, there's such pride in setting up that first classroom. And I talk with every one of them when I interview. I say, what will your classroom look like and what will your classroom feel like? And you just really get that insight as to what you can expect for kids. And so it's fun to follow up on that and visit them in their new classrooms in Shawnee Mission. And we also take the opportunity to check in with our student teachers, because we know, as Jeremy mentioned, growing our own is also really investing in our student teachers, connecting with them, talking with them about their experiences, how we can improve that experience. And then we're also providing them a lot of support through mock interviews, to help them develop those interview skills so that they really put their best foot forward, because we know what a great job they're doing in our classrooms. And then that other piece is also just saying a special thank you to our teachers across the district that serve as mentor teachers. That is just an invaluable resource for us, in that we have outstanding teachers that are serving our kids, and they're just getting the best experience that's going to prepare them for the classroom. We also want to continue to sharpen our instructional skills and be in classrooms completing instructional rounds. So, of course, we're out with all of the administrators working towards our instructional round goals and meeting that quarterly goal. And then we love the opportunity to be involved with student activities across the district and events. And so we just had the opportunity to participate in a student interview event at Shawnee and come in as an HR team and support them. So any opportunity that we can, we want to be out in our schools and staying connected to everyone across the district. We're also trying to stay connected through social media and developing more marketing from our HR team. So really sat down with our communications team and collaborated together in helping to establish our at the SMSD HR Twitter page. And so getting rolling with that, and it's just a great opportunity for us to, number one, celebrate our staff across the district and recognize the amazing staff that we have, as well as, you know, just connecting everyone, and then also being able to promote openings that we have across the district and use that as a tool to recruit across the state, as well as we continue to develop that social media platform. We'll also be making some updates to our district website to make that more user-friendly for those applying for positions. And we're also working to improve our presence on Handshake, which that's a virtual platform that we use for interviews and connecting with students from universities across the country. And so we're starting to post our job postings there. We just posted positions on 48 university sites across the country. So we're excited to really utilize Handshake, not just for those virtual events, but for recruitment as well. And just really sharing that SMSD story out across the country and getting more input from others. And then we, of course, want to continue to promote district recruitment events that we have, which, of course, we know we have our interview night coming up in November. So we're super excited about that.
Compensation and benefits are extremely important to all of our team members, including myself. But we will not dive totally into it. However, it must be noted that we continue to negotiate using the interest-based bargaining model with NEA Shawnee Mission for our professional employees and our parents as teachers. Additionally, we continue to evaluate our current pay structures for certified and for classified employees to ensure that our compensation is competitive. SMSD team, our SMSD team members, we are fortunate to have access to the Priority 1 Health Clinic and the state-of-the-art health and fitness facility. These unique benefits set us apart from all other school systems. Training and development are also very key, as Dr. Higgins mentioned, with our annual trainings that we do, but they go above and beyond just the mandatory trainings. In order to be the best at what we do, we know that it's important that we continue to refine our craft and remain informed of best practices. As practitioners, we must remain relevant and continue to pursue professional growth. The HR team's commitment to our philosophy is evidenced by our continued commitment to growing professionally as a team while supporting the professional development of our colleagues. As we transition into the next slide, each of us will speak about some of the trainings we offer to our SMSD team members. I'll begin that because with regards to the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, the deep equity work, Dr. Bates and I, we are working, we're in the beginning stages of working through a plan to ensure that every classified employee, every certified employee has an authentic opportunity to participate in the deep equity training.
So currently, we are exploring several models that fit our organizational structure in order to provide professional learning for our classified staff members.
So the Professional Development Council is also a team of teacher leaders that represent each of our buildings throughout the Shawnee Mission School District. And their purpose is really sharing, analyzing, and providing professional learning opportunities for all staff members throughout our school district. Make sure you guys can hear me there. Any better? Oh, good. So in addition to that work, they're also really focused on aligning professional learning across all of our schools with the strategic plan and working together to collaborate around that and build ideas together as a team when they gather for their quarterly meetings as well.
One of the goals of the HR department relates to developing standardized practices and procedures that help to ensure consistency. As the HR team develops these standardized practices and procedures, we provide our administrative staff with training on those various items. Additionally, all of these documents and information are housed in a centralized location, the newly created HR Hub. The HR Hub provides administrators and building managers with a one-stop shop for all things HR. Administrators have the information that they need in an easily accessible location. The ease in which administrators can access this information really helps to provide that consistency in practice.
And our HR team is really excited to also connect with and train students and give them opportunities. So we were excited to partner with the Leadership Shawnee Mission, and I represented the HR team serving as a mentor. And so I'm excited to introduce Graciela Albaran Batista, who's here to join us today.
Hello, I'm Graciela. I'm a senior at Shawnee Mission South, and I was paired up with Pam as my mentor. I want to become a teacher, specifically an ELL teacher, and Pam has just been really helpful with career advice and giving me plenty of opportunities, like going to the new Teacher Academy to see the environment that Shawnee Mission has for new teachers. So I'm really thankful that she's my mentor.
And I have to say, I'm so impressed with Graciela and the questions that she asks me, and she really makes me think. And we just have awesome discussions about education, and I just attribute that to the great teacher ed program that she's in Shawnee Mission. So it's really exciting to work with her, and I just know she's going to be a great teacher in the future for us here in Shawnee Mission. And then also our HR team is committed to having a real-world intern for the spring of 2022. And so again, giving student an opportunity to interview for that position and then work with our HR team, really some marketing as well as, some training opportunities that they can be a part of with our personnel assistants and the rest of us on the team. So we're hoping we can give them a great HR experience and a real-world learning opportunity.
Thanks, guys. Great job. So a lot there, everyone. Obviously, a pretty big report, and we try to get through the presentation pretty quickly. But the last thing, just want to remind everyone of our philosophy and goals. Remind us that we believe people are our greatest resource. Thanks again, everyone. Great job. We'll stand for any questions that you may have.
I think I'll start with Ms. Borkman and work our way around.
Well, I'm sorry, not sorry, that I get to go first. That was a phenomenal presentation. Thank you so much. It was just phenomenal. And I know that Shawnee Mission is far from perfect, but I just feel like the strides that our district has made in so many areas is just absolutely outstanding. And so thank you for the work that you've done. Dr. Gonzer, congratulations on your promotion. It was fun to see you at the building level and then to see you here. It's just great. So thank you all so much. Graciela, thank you so much for coming tonight and speaking with us. Would you mind if we ask you just a question or two? Is that all right? Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Well, how's your senior year going?
It's going great.
Good. So tell us, what has this experience been like for you?
My mentorship?
Yes, your mentorship with Pam, with Miss Lewis, yes.
It's been really good. I think that any student would benefit from having a mentor in the career field that they want to pursue. Just to know what it's like has been really helpful. And
And getting some hands-on experience. And,
yes.
Have you been able to share your experience with some of your friends, and what, have you encouraged your friends to also kind of dive in with partnering with the district and having some of these experiences?
Yes, I've talked about it with my teacher education class, and we've just sort of been communicating about different ways we can be more in the classroom and have more experience. So,
well, thank you. It's so many more things to say, so many more thank yous. And Graciela, thank you for being here. Congratulations on almost making it to the finish line in a crazy kind of couple of years. And we're so excited to see what your future holds. So, thank you so much for being here.
I just wanted to add that I just love the way that Graciela advocates for herself, and she really is making the most of this. So she just sent me a text the other day that said, "Hey Pam, I've got a couple days that I don't have classes, and so she wants to sit in on some collaborative planning time with the second grade team because she wants to teach second grade. So we're going to get that set up, and then wanted to shadow me for the day." So she's taking advantage of the opportunity, which is what I think is so exciting for our students across the district when they are involved with a mentor through the Leadership Foundation. So it's been an awesome opportunity for me as well. So just really rewarding if you get the opportunity to do it.
And 4 years, we can't wait to offer you a job. So.
I really appreciate it.
Reverend Guy?
I want to thank you for your report, for the written report, which was very thorough, and for your presentation tonight. And I really don't have any questions because I think you covered everything really well. As I was reading the report and listening to you tonight, I was flashing back to my time on the steering committee for the strategic plan. And when we got to that second strategy, we will relentlessly create a fully unified, equitable, and inclusive culture. Those were the words that came to my mind reading through the report, that relentlessly create. And we specifically wanted that in the strategic plan because we know that it's often very easy to make a little bit of progress and to think, hey, we did it. We're a little bit better than we used to be, so we don't have to try anymore. And we said, that's not who we are in SMSD. We want to relentlessly get further and further along and where we want to be. And I think that you represent that we're not where we want to be yet, but we're not giving up. And in fact, we're finding more things that we can implement that are going to get us even closer to our goal. So thank you for relentlessly creating this culture through the excellent employees that we hire. And I hope that you continue to do that and to drive us further on, because we're never going to cross the finish line. We just have to keep moving in that direction. So thank you for all your efforts to do that.
Mr. Stratton?
Again, really well done presentation. There's one slide I'm looking at here, you don't need to pull it up, but it was the one of the United States map, and it talks about teacher recruitment. And so what I've learned as I've listened to this and heard the presentations over the last year or so, I'm fascinated by the broader reach of recruitment and the fact that we're going to other states. My question is, what partners do we need to help in this recruitment effort to bring people to our community. My assumption is that most of our recruitment were of people that were already in our community. And so I was wondering, everything from housing to transportation resources, I'm just curious if that's a whole nother new layer that we're not only selling the idea of coming to Shawnee Mission, but to the Kansas City region. And if so, what partners do we need to help bring people to this community?
I think you hit the nail on the head, frankly. We started these recruiting efforts to that expanded geographic area 3 years ago, and while we've had some success, it's been moderate, frankly. It's most people want to stay within 350, 400 miles of where they grew up or where they went to school. So I think you're exactly right. We need to look at ways to put up housing, to provide them a moving stipend, something like that. If we really want to get serious on the recruiting trail for those people out in Alabama or Mississippi or wherever we're going, I think that's the next step. So that would be one thing. We do try to sell Kansas City. We do work with the Chamber of Commerce, and when we take recruiting material, we take not only Shawnee Mission material, but Kansas City, Missouri, and the entire metro area, and we sell the Chiefs, and we sell the Royals, and Kauffman Center, and everything else. It's still a tough road to hoe, so I think those would be the next conversations we would want to have about financially incentivizing people to come to Shawnee Mission.
Great, thanks. As I think going out 25 years from now and watching cost of living shifts all around the country, and then maybe even some changes that now take place post-pandemic about where and how people choose to work, I hope we as Kansas City, we as the Midwest, can continue to sell our quality of life and our cost of living. And my hope is that there are folks that throw up their hands and say, I'm going to move from the ends of the country towards the middle of the country, right, and that we'd be there ready to transition them.
Agreed.
Dr. Sinclair?
I'm going to add to the thank you for this detailed report. It's very informative. I was really enjoying reading parts about all the work around mentoring. And if I understand correctly, mentoring is a really big part of retention and of not only of helping our staff, with continuous improvement, but really keeping that foundation, that support work. So I couldn't help think about, we have the biggest class of new teachers, and so there's probably a really big load for mentors given the increase in teaching staff. And I don't know if anybody wants to speak to that, if it was really important that we brought on some additional instructional coaches or how that's working. I just kind of dawned on me, wow, that's a lot of mentoring.
Absolutely, you are correct. And for exactly that reason, we did take on some additional mentors to serve the needs of our new team members this year. Since we have more new team members than we've ever had, we have more mentors than we've ever had. So that's been a lot of fun getting to know them and support them in their work. And really that's a great training opportunity for them as well to expand their skills and learn some new things too, to support our new team members in that process. So that's been tremendous. And of course it directly connects back to the expansion of our instructional coaching program as well. That's been an invaluable resource for not only our new team members, but our existing team members.
Dr. Gonzer, I'll add one other thing. We do currently have 70 student teachers that are placed throughout the Shawnee Mission School District as well. And so each of those student teachers is paired up with a mentor that is truly takes a tremendous effort from that person, a tremendous growth opportunity for both the student teacher and for the mentor. Additionally, we have a number of students who are in our schools just doing observations, could be from 15 hours to 40 hours through the semester, and each of those is partnered up with a mentor as well. So not only do we have those mentors for our new teachers, but our student teachers and our observation students as well. Those play a key role, and we're very thankful for those staff members who step into those roles.
And they never hesitate to step up and provide those opportunities. And we already have started our mentor teacher list for next semester, so that as we get those requests, we can really quickly match them up with the area of the district that they want to be in, based on a lot of times where they live, and then also just, the grade level that they're really looking for. So we do our best to match them up, but it's our teachers stepping up and serving in those roles, which we of course appreciate.
Thank you. So I'll just add my thank you to that for all those mentors who stepped up, and also for you and the team who have also modeled the mentoring with our through Leadership Shawnee Mission. So thank you.
So I have a couple of questions myself. With regards to how we're going to pester our students who leave us who are in this education program during their time at college to make sure that they know that we're interested in them returning. Are you texting them, Pam? I'm assuming there's something formal in place since we don't have scholarship opportunities yet to have them return to us. Like, how are we keeping track of folks to make sure they know we're still interested in wanting to see them back?
Yeah, when we're attending events, we're taking, contact information, as well as we're giving them a QR code where they can share their information, and then we're reaching back out to them. And we're also connecting our SMSD recruit team with them so that they can have ongoing conversations with them. We're working with our principals and our teacher mentors so that the students that are student teaching, maybe that short 8-week student teaching, really connecting with them and letting them know about the opportunities that we have. We'll have our interview night where we're also going to show them our gym and the clinic and those great opportunities that we have as well. But it's really about developing those relationships and then staying connected with them. We're really, we work with our practicum students, and our goal is, while they're only coming in for maybe 10 hours or 30 hours for that practicum, we want them to come back and student teach with us as well. And so it's all about relationships, and it's all about connecting with people, and that's what our goal is, because we want to grow our team to be the best team that we can be for our kids.
Thank you. And then my other question is, so I see that we are very competitive with our certified salary schedule, and I had a question at one of our previous meetings with regards to the classified salary schedule, so I thought I'd just take an opportunity to follow up to see if we had some additional information on that, Dr. Schumacher. I think the question was, if we were to move up $2 across the salary schedule, not just to the base, but across, what would the ultimate cost of that be? And do we have information on that tonight by any chance?
I've been working with Mr. Knapp. Nope, we're not quite ready for that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Just
we have had the conversations. It's, as we mentioned the last time, it's going to be a significant number to take everyone to that level.
Yep, I just want to know what the number is whenever the Excel spreadsheet has gotten the right things put into the right places so that we know. So thank you on that.
Yep.
And then I will say it was very rewarding to read through the entirety of the report. So for folks watching it at home, the slideshow is good, but dig into the report. And it was really nice to see on page 17 the staffing number increases for the FTEs based off of the reallocation of the funds. I just had one question, and you may not know the answer tonight because I didn't think to submit it previously, but it looks like in 2022, 2023, the total staffing number will be 643. Do we know when the last time we were at that level of staffing? Because this chart only goes back to 2016, 2017, and I would imagine it would have been prior to 2012 probably maybe even before 2012, and we would have had different enrollment numbers then too. Right. So I'm excited about this student to teacher ratio, and I would just like to follow up at some point in time later to see when we were last competitive in that regard.
Yeah.
And then I will turn it over to Ms. Goodburn.
Dr. Higgins answered one of my questions. We have 70 student teachers. Where do they typically come from? What universities? And is 70 about normal that we always have every year, or is that higher, lower?
Good question on if that's normal or not. I'll let you know that for sure next year. In regards to where they come from, we really have a pretty good cross-section of universities that we partner with. Obviously, KU, K-State. We have tremendous partnerships. Rockhurst, Northwest Missouri State.
Fort Hays, Emporia State, Pitt State, and so just really across the state of Kansas is where most of our student teachers are coming from. And then we're working to, both of us being new into our roles, we're working to develop those relationships with our universities, and so continuing to develop those relationships and connect with them. So we're excited about that.
Wonderful. I had a couple other questions, I guess, that are sort of pandemic related. So what are you seeing from colleges? I'm assuming you're going out to colleges now and doing recruiting fairs and different things or shortly. What are you seeing in the numbers of kids that are graduating with an education teaching degree? I mean, with the pandemic, I know enrollments at the colleges are kind of down area. Wondering what you're seeing in the pool, I guess, the pool of teaching candidates out there.
I'll speak in general.
Not specific numbers.
I'll speak in generalities, and maybe you guys can
Sounds
talk
good.
specifically about what you're seeing, but there's been a steady decrease over the last 4 or 5 years in students entering the teaching profession, and that's been across the board at all of our universities. And when I was last recruiting 2 years ago in person, we saw it then. There's a steady decline. So again, I'll go back to that battle cry that we have. We've got to control our own pool and create our own, grow your own, but it has been steady declining. Are you guys seeing that out there?
Yes.
Yeah, and any of the trainings that we go to through, like our American Association of School Personnel Administrators, that's one of the first things that they talk about, is that we have to really be thoughtful and have a plan with our recruitment, because it is, it's not as large of a pool, and just all the different factors that we need to keep in mind, and how we recruit them, just as we've all mentioned, the great benefit of having our health clinic and having our gym. And so while that doesn't come across straight out in that flat salary that a candidate would see, that's such a great benefit. And also our location is a fabulous benefit in the area that we live in, for housing and costs and culture and just everything that we have to provide in Kansas City. So it's just how we can market that, because it is the pool's decreasing, and we have to do our best to bring them here, as well as the work of growing your own that we're really taking on.
And I'll add one more piece to that. Last week I was recruiting at virtual recruiting at a career fair, and there were 177 candidates that were at the fair, and only 3 were in education.
And then I have one other question, pandemic related now. You mentioned virtual things. So how do you think this has changed your profession? I mean, has the pandemic and being able to do things virtually, or is it you really wish it all would go back to in-person handshaking, talking to people in person instead of the virtual, or have there been changes that you think will be here to stay in recruiting field?
So the virtual events I will share allows us to cast a broad net, to really get to some places that maybe we wouldn't have been able to get to previously. But in the first couple months of this and living this for the first time, I guess, I've been disappointed in the turnout on those virtual events. I know Dr. Jones had a recruiting event that was virtual with Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri.
City.
And it was just very poor turnout. Pam and I both had Arkansas that was through handshake virtually. We didn't talk with a single student. And so while it's nice to have that platform, I'm not sure if students right now are really connecting with that, because we are starting to see some in-person events come back. I think that Pam and I are both hopeful that we get to see more of this in-person, and even more schools return to the in-person and more students come to the in-person. There's just that connection piece that is so beneficial, that we see that I think helps us a ton.
And I think I would also add where, virtually we can have screening interviews with people that, live in Colorado, and, those kind of situations to where they want to come back to the Kansas City area and move back, but they can't come back for, all of the interviews and part of that process. But at the same time, you get to that point where you really want to have those candidates coming to Shawnee Mission and see what Shawnee Mission is all about, and coming to see all that we have to offer, and just really being able to make that personal connection. And so we're really working with our candidates in coming to visit Shawnee Mission, coming out, to come talk with us here. We've got our interview night coming up. We're hoping that we can get a lot of them to come here on site for that interview night.
I believe what's really going to be key into making sure that this is a true success is us developing relationships with those colleges and those universities, and developing relationships with those education departments. So really getting to know people, know individuals, so they can direct you. I remember my experience at KU a few years ago, and I had a professor that was there, and he knew me, and he said, hey, come on over here, you all. Dr. Jones is over here. Come talk to him. He's someone that I think you would want to speak with and be interested in the school system he's working with. So you can develop those types of relationships with individuals. They will help guide us. Handshake and the virtual means could be awesome, but we have to have individuals who are interested and who know us and who can guide students to Shawnee Mission. But I believe that as we have time together, we're going to continue to figure this out and make it better. But I'm very happy that we're actually having a footprint in those various areas.
Thank you all for the presentation and for the report. I love these program reports. They're so informational and so well done, and I know they take a lot of time. So thank you so much, though, for them.
Thank you.
Ms. Hembry?
I would echo all of the thanks. I want to acknowledge that it's so much, what this makes me think of is continuous quality improvement. I just get the sense that you guys are taking a fresh look at everything that needs a fresh look and finding new ways to do hard things. And that's hard enough to do anyway, but doing it with a pandemic in the background and doing it when I think a few of you mentioned being new in your roles, like that's a lot to take on. So I just want to, the report is great, but all the work that sits behind it, I'm sure has been an incredible year, 2 years of hard stuff. So thank you for doing that for our students. My biggest question is just anecdotally, I have the sense that there's a lot of like just despair in the teaching profession. The climate and the culture and the morale is low. It's obviously been a hard time to be in education. I'm curious what that means for you guys as our HR team.
I'll take a stab at it. First, I agree. This is the hardest time ever to be an educator, to be a teacher specifically. Last year, I think, was just unprecedented how hard it was with all of the different things that they were learning, all of them going through the pandemic the same time we were. And I think we all thought that this year we would get some relief, right? I think that's what we all thought in the summer, and that hasn't come to fruition. So we continue to work with our building principals. That's our mechanism into those classrooms with our teachers, through the principals, through those instructional coaches, through those building visits, to make those connections. We're looking at ways to provide more wellness incentives, through the health center, and through the fitness center, and through the Wellness Wednesdays, things like that. We're looking at ways to support them in being able to take sub days. We all know that substitutes are it's a problem. It's a problem right now, and it's not a Shawnee Mission problem alone. It's across the entire metro, and so Dr. Higgins is working really hard with Kelly to try to incentivize substitutes to come work on Mondays and Fridays. So those are some of the few things that we're doing. Guys, anything else you want to add? Yeah, that's the $1 million question. I mean, it's. I think acknowledging the fact that we know how hard it is, I think, is one piece. And then, perhaps even working with them on things that we can do. We continue to work with NEA Shawnee Mission as well. And but it is hard out there. I agree.
And I would just add to that every team is doing that as much as they possibly can. I think being in classrooms has been a huge focus of ours this year, and just, acknowledging that the work is hard and saying thank you. I mean, sometimes it's the little things. We don't have a magic answer for it, but we definitely all acknowledge that. And we talked about it in our administrative team just today about, the baby steps. How do we get to November? If we get to November, we have, that break. And then how do we get to the winter break? And then how do we figure out in January how to convince this team to finish strong? Because that's what we have to do for our kids. And so it's constantly on our agendas. We talk about it. We talk about it weekly, and we recognize that it's a concern for everybody, from bus drivers to the cafeteria, who is so understaffed, and to our classroom teachers and paras and secretaries and all of us. So our principals that are tirelessly working as well. So we'll continue to focus on it.
My other question, and that's totally unrelated, is just around how we keep people in Shawnee Mission. I think sometimes we might lose folks to other districts because they can move up through the ranks in another district, whereas they might feel that they can't hear. So how do we think about kind of building that pipeline, not just into Shawnee Mission, but within the whole system?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, Dr. Higgins, his strategy 225 is one of those ways, especially for our classified staff members, that para to master's program, which we'll be looking into, I think is one key way to promote from within. I think, also with our building administrators, making sure that our teaching staff knows that there are some ways to matriculate up into administrative positions. So typically that's through instructional coaches, into administrative interns, associate principal positions. We're fortunate that we're a pretty large system, and we typically every year have those opportunities available. And one of the mechanisms into that are leadership opportunities. So whether it be building leadership team, site councils, curriculum cadres, making sure teachers understand that there's methods for them to get those experiences, to get into those pipelines. But you're correct. We really believe in hiring from within, and I think our track record last year of hiring principals really shows that.
Yeah, absolutely. We hired 6 new elementary principals. 3 of them came from within. We have 6 admin interns at the elementary level, and 5 of them are from within the school district and formerly in the classroom, or instructional coaches or innovation specialists. And I know that we, was it 35 instructional coaches and 20 of them are internal?
Yeah. So we hired 18 new instructional
Okay,
coaches this school year, and out of those 18, 16 were from within our own system. So we're really looking for those leadership opportunities. And we have phenomenal teachers in the Shawnee Mission School District, and the more that we can learn from each other and grow each other, that's just all the better for our kids too.
Yeah, I would also say that in our elementary schools, I was looking at that we have, all 35 of our buildings, and 19 of those principals were previously in the district in another role. And so I think that just really shows that we do invest in our staff, and we have great staff. And so I think that's what's really important, is working together with others and having those conversations about what are your professional goals, and then how do I help you get there. And I know that as a principal, that was always a focus of mine, and I know it's a focus of our principals as well, because that's what our job is, to mentor others and then support them in reaching their professional goals.
Thank you. Is there any follow-up? Do we need to go around again completely, or it looks like Jamie and Dr. Sinclair?
I just wanted to say, I think Miss Anderson may have left, but I thought I heard her say that she was in Oklahoma this morning doing a recruiting trip, as were you, Miss Lewis?
Yeah.
And you're here tonight?
It was a quick drive. I mean, well, it really wasn't a quick drive, but anyway, I won't even talk about my driving.
Pam found a new vacation location, Alva, Oklahoma.
Well, at least the leaves are changing. How did it go?
It was great. It was our first trip there, and so they were excited to see us. Everybody at the university was coming over and talking to us, and just really happy that we came. I think we were one of those that traveled the farthest distance. We didn't get an award or anything, but I bet we would have, because everybody was really just excited that we came from Kansas City, and it just really also got the opportunity to not just meet students, but talk to staff from Northwest Oklahoma State, and just get to connect with them and talk with them about the different programs that they offer there. And they really focus on teacher education, which is why we went there. And so then we have those contacts, and Alicia's our lead Shawnee Mission recruiter from SMSD Recruit that will be reaching out with them. And of course, we gave them all the information about interview night. And so it was very successful. It was a good trip. It was worth our time for sure.
Well, long day, so thank you. And please tell Miss Anderson thank you as well.
Absolutely.
Brad, did you have any follow-up? Nope. Okay. Dr. Sinclair?
Okay, I just had a couple more questions on the list. One was about the affinity groups, and so reading about the work that's that pilot experience, is there a, so I would imagine the affinity group is beneficial for those who are part of it, but there's also a piece then of how does the work of the affinity group connect with the larger work of the organization? Is that something that's continuing to evolve, or is there a kind of an infrastructure for that?
So I'm going to let Dr. Bates or Dr. Ziegler jump in for this one.
So the pipeline to sort of bleed into the organization is the cabinet ELT would eventually become what's called an executive sponsor for all of our affinity spaces, and that they would bring to the table celebrations, challenges, needs, so that team can then act accordingly. So that's kind of the next phases as we build out our affinity spaces.
I appreciate that. That's a powerful piece of kind of taking the district to the next level. So I appreciate
We're really
the
just-
thoughtfulness for that.
Yeah, just getting started too, so it's kind of new for all of us. We're all learning.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The other question I had was reading about, we have a new tool for staff for tracking certification requirements and that kind of thing. And so it got me thinking about there's required annual training, like around emergency safety and FERPA and discrimination, harassment, kind of that policy AC, and trauma-informed care, so all the suicide prevention, all those pieces. So if I'm a teacher and I have, I have so much PD time professional development time available for me throughout the year, what portion is kind of this required annual training? And then what portion do I get to personalize and really dig into some other areas of my own personal goal? And I don't mean to imply that the required is not important. It's just...
It's really a variety. So almost all of the required takes place at the very beginning of the school year, even before school starts. So a lot of that's done early in the year. We have set days in the calendar that, we all see, and those are a little more prescriptive. And oftentimes building have some autonomy to do what they need to do around their KISA goals, around building initiatives. If I happen to be a BIST building, I might bring in a BIST trainer, so a little more building autonomy. And then in addition to that, we have teacher-directed self-directed professional learning. And they have approximately about 14 hours a year, 7 in the spring and 7 in the fall, that they can choose their professional learning. Now, we absolutely encourage that it's around the strategic plan or you're building KISA goals. But that's not always the case, especially in some specialty areas. You'll see some, music art that may or may not fall exactly into those KISA goals, but they're usually pretty supportive. Brittany, Michael, would you guys add to that?
Yeah, I would just say that really one of our priorities when it comes to professional learning is providing lots of different opportunities and a variety of formats for professional learning. I think we've done some very innovative things as a district over the course of the last few years, and of course with those personalized professional learning plans that we make available. So really just giving that broad variety between individual, building, and district-wide needs, and trying to not only meet all of those, but align them too and see the connection between them.
I appreciate that explanation. And so would you, I don't know why I'm stuck on this question, but so would you say half of the time is personalized or a third of the time or professional development time?
Yeah, I think that
from an individual, and then there's the organizational need. So I get the balance. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think that is going to vary a little bit, depending on possibly what your building level goals are or your individual level goals might be. There's a fairly even distribution between those, each of those different items, but some of that is a matter of individual choice as well, and to what extent someone might want to pursue something on their own. But we really do strive for that variety of all three of those things. It's fairly well divided up, but we could certainly analyze that closer to see how that breaks down.
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
I
You
was
answered my
thinking about
question.
the
Thank
time.
you. It's
Yeah.
helpful. It's helpful to understand. All right, and then if there's anything as board members we can do to help recruit for more staff, because that just sounds like a big piece of the equation in terms of the exhaustion, is just all the staff shortages.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
We'll send you to Alva, Oklahoma.
I was just thinking, Mary, you just bought yourself a trip to Oklahoma. I might have one last follow-up question, and unless some of my colleagues to the left also have additional. When we're looking to recruit people to come here, it strikes me that we don't have any control over affordable housing in Johnson County, and that is, I know, one of the more pressing concerns that the county commissioners are looking at in some of our local municipalities. Are we providing, or have we gathered the data for, even if we're competitive with the certified salary schedule, if you're looking to buy, we have such a tight housing market. Do we have the comparison information? So if you are making our salary, can you afford as a first-time buyer to buy in our community?
not a lot of deep research. I would tell you
Right.
that the information we gather from the KC Chamber of Commerce includes some of that kind of on a metro area. And I would tell you, as you guys probably know, we compare really well against other metros.
Right.
But as far as like local recruiting and comparing us to Manhattan or Salina or something like that, we haven't really dove into that. I don't think that's been a hindrance for us as far as recruiting initial kids.
That's good.
I mean, I think a lot of us probably lived in an apartment, when we first started teaching, and I think that's probably pretty standard. But maybe something for us to look into a little more deeply.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was my last question, and if there's no further, I think we'll just thank you very much for the presentation and being here this evening from all of you.
Thanks,
That's
guys.
great.
Appreciate it.
All right, the next item on our agenda is item 3.2. It's revised board policy IF. This is just a discussion item, and what I will do is turn it over to Dr. Hubbard and to Sarah Goodburn. I know the policy committee recently met, and if you could go over the recommended changes for us. I'm not sure which of you is speaking to the recommended changes tonight, either, both, however you want to look at.
I can, Sarah, if you can. Yeah, so I actually brought this policy to the committee for review just as conversation and public comment over the last couple meetings. I just wanted to make sure that I was familiar with the policy that could have been in question. And so I just brought it to the policy review committee. And then as we looked at it, we noticed that it's mainly name changes. So we had like director of curriculum versus chief academic officer. So we did the name changes, and then at further review with policy committee, there was some suggestions to put some time frames into this policy, both for the initial challenge, and then if we were to have a hearing in regards to instructional materials, the time frame there as well, and just a little more clear on the process. So just for your consideration, it really doesn't change the intent of the policy. It's really more name changes and dates.
And this is a first read, so we will see this again at our meeting at the end of this month. So are there any questions or comments at this time? No? All right. Well, we will move right along to item 4.1, approval of our consent items. Unless someone has an item they would like to pull, I will seek a motion to approve item 4.1.
Move approval, Borgman.
Thank you, Ms. Borgman. Is there a second?
Second, Goodburn.
Thank you, Ms. Goodburn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are done at 7:17. We will do board comments, and we'll start with Ms. Embry on this end over here for our board comments this evening.
I would just like to say thank you for the homecoming parades. I don't know if anyone else had a chance to go, but it felt like our community was like alive again, and it made me so happy. I'm sure tons of planning goes into them, so I was really grateful for the chance to participate.
I just wanted to remind everyone, I had fun at the homecoming parade too, but I wanted to remind everyone there's an election coming up and there's a couple deadlines. If you want to receive your advance voting ballot, they're going to start mailing them October 13th. So you can still actually apply for that advance voting ballot. And then also advance voting in person is going to start on October 23rd at 8 locations around our county. You can check the JOCO election website for more information, but I just wanted to remind everyone that November 2nd is the actual election.
I wanted to give a thank you to the Education Foundation. I was watching the social media feeds today with all of the scholarship opportunities that were granted to some of our students, and they'll be meeting with the other high school feeder patterns later this week, and I think that it may be my favorite thing of the week or of the year to see the kids get their scholarships and have an opportunity to have access to, their future. So that is just phenomenal, and I know that takes so much of their time. And then today is National Coming Out Day. So for the students in our community who may be LGBTQ who are not out yet, I just want you to know that the board cares about you, and we're proud of you, and we hope you are welcome and having a wonderful school year. And it was officially on the calendar for the federal government Columbus Day, but many locations and jurisdictions celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. And recently, Chief Barnes was here in Johnson County for Orange Shirt Day. And he's working with the city of Fairway to do studies at the Shawnee Mission to look for potential Shawnee tribal remains. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Chief Barnes and his work, his ongoing work in our community to speak for the Shawnee tribe. And that is all I have to say for this evening. Dr. Sinclair?
I had the opportunity to be at East today to help hand out some of the scholarship awards to students, and it was fantastic. It's great. We have fewer opportunities in the last 18 months to be able to be in those kind of settings, so it was great to be able to be part of that this morning, and congratulations to all our seniors, and thank you to Shawnee Mission Education Foundation for the Scholarship Shawnee Mission program. And then I also wanted to say thank you to the organizers of the fundraiser for the Shawnee Mission East Fund. That's a phenomenal program to support some of our students and families. And so thank you to all those organizers who hosted an event this weekend.
A reminder that the Finance and Facilities Committee is meeting this Thursday at 4 o'clock, and you're certainly welcome to attend in person, but it'll also be viewable online.
I was able to attend the opening of the Health Partnership Clinic at Shawnee Mission West. Dr. Hubbard talked about it in her superintendent report, but it is so exciting to have this resource in one of our school buildings, and I just want to make sure people understand that students from any school can attend. And so you can get more information at HPCKS for Health Partnership Clinic, Kansas.org, and or just call up Shawnee Mission West and say, hey, tell me about this clinic, and they can put you in touch. But it's an actual doctor's office with a doctor, and they also do dental exams and behavioral health, mental health, wellness, and so it's just a phenomenal resource. And I hope that our families will take full advantage of it. And I'm so fortunate that we have that in our community. So thanks to everybody who worked on that and helped put that together.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank the Shawnee Mission Northwest community. I was the Grand Marshal in the Shawnee Mission Northwest Homecoming Parade, which was decided upon by the Spirit Club, the kids. And so that really meant a lot to me that students selected their board member to be the Grand Marshal. So thank you so much to the Spirit Club for that amazing honor, and to the Shawnee Mission Northwest community. Ditto on the Scholarship Shawnee Mission. It was an amazing, amazing event. I was at the Shawnee Mission West High School today, and know quite a few of the seniors, as my kids went to Rising Star, which is a split feeder school. And so it was just amazing to see these kids that you knew from kindergarten, and now they're seniors. And you know, this one student I knew said, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe the number on the page. And so what an incredible opportunity for these kids. And then finally, just, you know, it's nice to see our kids having some of the same opportunities that they had pre-pandemic. For example, our signature programs here at Shawnee Mission are absolutely incredible. My oldest daughter, who's a senior, is in the medical science 2 class. Med-Sci, as she calls it, and today was her first day at Truman, which is now University Health, working in the labor and delivery unit. And so it's just so fantastic to see these kids get these real life experiences. Some of her other peers were in the emergency room and had quite an experience, and they're really learning some just real life lessons in this. So I'm grateful for the opportunity for our kids, and grateful that we can now kind of get our kids back into doing some pre-pandemic things. So thank you to all the teachers out there for all you do for all of our kids.
And with that, thank you, everyone. There is no business following this meeting. We are adjourned.